Welcome back. You're watching AIM Agenda. We're expected to be in an election campaign within days right now. And here are the battle lines. Do you want an extra cup of coffee a week in 15 months' time? Or do you want to see a more immediate cut in your fuel bill? Joining me now is Independent MP Dai Le. Dai Le, is that how you see the lines at the moment?
Look, Laura, can I say it's really great to hear that the fuel excise tax cuts will be considered by the opposition. And as you know, I put that question to the Treasurer and the Prime Minister for the last 3 years because I believe that that's going to really support, help people in this cost of living crisis, especially people, pensioners will benefit from this fuel excise because obviously they won't get a tax cut. But for families in southwest and Western Sydney, if this is going to happen, it'll be great news because people own 3 to 4 cars. And I've been saying that majority of our people here rely so much on their cars to drive to work and doing all the activities that they have to do to support their families. So obviously, to calculate, look, 70 cents or $5 cup of coffee, like a matcha tea out here is about $7. But the fuel excise will, bring at least, I think about $14 at least savings. So I think it's, great news about that, and I've been advocating for that on this program with you.
You have many times, Dai Le, and finally someone's listened to you, it would seem. We'll wait to see the details when we see the budget in reply tonight. But as you point out, pensioners will get the benefit from this cut in the fuel excise. What do you think your constituents of Fowler would rather see? Do they want to see this ongoing, very modest tax cut, or would they rather get more relief more immediately while there's a cost of living crisis?
Look, of course, everybody wants immediate relief, but also long term. And, I supported reluctantly the bill yesterday to, provide the $150, another rebate, another sugar hit to our families, but they need that sugar hit at the moment. And that is immediate, but I think something that is more permanent, something long-term, and something that's immediately, obviously, according to what I'm hearing, the opposition will make it effective straight away rather than waiting for 15 months or so for the tax cuts to come into effect. But look, it's still a real struggle, for our communities out here with the cost of living. The other thing is I've also asked for the government to connect our community to job opportunities and housing through the East-West Rail Link, and they have not. Of course, in the budget, there was nothing in it for Southwest Sydney and in community in Fowler at all. And I hope that, somebody will listen and to make sure that at least we have some sort of feasibility study for the East-West Rail Connect that connects Sydney to Parramatta, Fowler and Western Sydney Airport.
Di, so just let me be clear on this. Did you vote for the tax cut yesterday, but do so reluctantly?
Yes, I did so. I voted for that because I knew that we were in deficit, and it's really, really hard when you know how to manage it responsibly, but you also know that the families that are doing it tough here in Western Sydney, and they need some kind of relief. But
it's not for 15 months. And as well as I know, this is a bit of a stunt. It might just work. It does put the pressure on the coalition to come up with something big tonight. But even knowing this was a stunt, did you feel like, yes, you needed to vote for it, and that Labor might come after you in the election campaign if you didn't? Because, of course, you won that prize seat of Fowler, which was in the Labor Party for decades.
Absolutely. Look, I voted for it because I felt that if I didn't, even though it was, for me, the budget we're in deficit and this doesn't show there was responsible management of our economy, but I knew that Labor would definitely come out and say that I did not support the cuts, that I, did not support, cost of living for our families. And of course, we know that that's all false, but Labor is very good at playing the game of, attacking and creating, dirt files and shit files and all of that, in leading up to the election. But I hope that, if they do form the minority government, that something will have to be done for families in southwest Sydney. And look, in the budget, there's nothing. I know I can say that there was nothing in it for southwest Sydney, and they have definitely forgotten. Once again, the community in southwest in Fowler. So we will see what the election will, come up with.
Well, let's go to the budget and reply tonight. First of all, what are you looking from the coalition? Because talking to you this morning, you sound like you want responsible budget management, but you also want immediate cost of living relief. That is a pretty hard line to walk at the moment. So what are you wanting to see tonight from Peter Dutton?
Look, it is a hard line to walk. How do you deliver a responsible budget, but also consider the cost of living crisis that families in Middle Australia, in particular Western Sydney and Southwest Sydney, are going through at the moment? And I think a tax such as the fuel excise tax cut would not only help families and pensioners, but also businesses, because as you know, the cost of transporting and all of that will help small business, because that will alleviate the cost of them transporting. So that will be, immediate, and that will help hopefully kickstart the economy. And then I think in terms of energy, we need to have a look at the reforming the energy market and looking at how we can ensuring all the money that's in our energy bills at the moment that people have to pay with other charges, the levies to the environmental transition.
So that's a simple thing that they could do there.
Those things that they could do, right? That's actually, for me, add to the inflation and the budget. So there are things that the government can do, but the East-West Connect is definitely something that I would call and urgently ask the opposition to consider in their reply budget, because that will actually create opportunities in housing for Western Sydney.
Yeah, we don't have long to wait until tonight. I just want to ask you about a final thing here, the Teals. I mean, there's a lot of focus on independent MPs like you at this election. You're not a Teal. There's a lot of Teals in the parliament at the moment, and it could come down to minority government. So therefore, the spotlight is on the independents. At the last election, the Teals were very much focused on climate change and integrity. In that vein, when you see the latest reports about Monique Ryan, her husband tearing down those signs, we have another report today where she's directing her campaign staff to refer to her as doctor. What do you think about all of this stuff?
Can I say that, as independent, as newly elected members of parliament, we are new to the parliament. We do things differently. We have lived experiences, and we try to bring our lived experience into the federal parliament. And of course, we stand for integrity, transparency, and keeping the government of the day accountable. As an independent member, we must not go to the level of major parties playing these tactics that they play. I have no doubt, and I understand that Monique Ryan and her husband have apologised for that incident, and maybe new in the game, they probably didn't know that that's not something you should do. Posters are kind of price, there's some this kind of
you'd know that, Dai Le. You'd know that. It's not within. It's not about the rules. It's about the spirit of a contest, right?
Yeah, a contest, exactly. So let the opposition slash your posters, which, as you know, has happened to me, but just never touch theirs.
Who's done that to you? Labor.
Oh, yes, of course, at the last federal election.
Is that what happened? Has that happened this time around yet?
There has been some posters slashed, and that's what I say to my supporters as well. Look, don't touch it. If they rip ours down or whatever, just leave it. Just, doesn't matter. Don't get so emotionally involved over a poster.
Wow.
But it is one of those things where people just kind of have supporters are so emotional about it. And how do you get involved in politics and help with campaigns without resorting to the same level of behaviour that major parties often resort to?
Wow.
So, look, that's all I can say, but I'm sure that Monique and her husband have learnt, and have apologised. So, but there are other things that, major parties do as well. So we have to remember that, as I said, the Labor Party out here are just gunning gunning for me. So,
all right.
but that's Paul.
Parliament's meant to set the moral standard. This is going to be quite a willing election campaign, Dai Le. Always good to talk to you. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Laura.